it is no accident that email and Slack or Teams chat um, keeps coming up, because we treat that as if it's just another tool, but it's actually something different. It's a channel overflow.
Hmm.
And the reason you have 30,000 emails to process in a year is because embedded inside each one of those email messages is a moment in time description of where something is in a complex workflow. And so as the
Hmm.
recipient of that email, you have to reconstruct the
Hmm.
unspoken complex workflow that that
Context.
data
Yeah.
point exists in. And the thing in the world that is supposed to solve for remote distributed complex workflow management are all these SaaS tools that we have. That's what's supposed to do that.
That's right.
But because we have, because the incentives of the SaaS economy, they're so attractive, there's so many point solutions. Anchor SaaS tools have sprawled into trying to be everything. Because of that fragmentation, we are no longer able to align with each other through the tools.
Hmm.
And so my interaction with a SaaS tool becomes a function of me sort of just managing my own internal productivity, and whatever misuse of that tool makes the most sense of me for me in the moment. And all of the, desired architecture and orchestration that that tool was really built for really gets collapsed down into a very beautiful UX of personal productivity management for my pipeline, my whatever.
Hmm.
And therefore, in order to get the critical realignment together as a team, I have to push Slack messages at you and push emails at you. And so the reason that we get so frustrated and have so much psychological kind of torment from those tools being there is because like they've become like a flood zone.
Hmm.
Like they are literally absorbing all of that business alignment and data and process that should be handled in true, true database driven workflows.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would, and I again, I would say part of that is in not recognizing the shift of the amount of information that we produce, making attention a difficult thing. When you have the communication separate from the work itself, the amount of work in any particular message, I need to figure out how to connect that to the work that's being done. And sometimes that, someone will send an attachment or they'll send a link to a shared doc or whatever it is. But in order for me to, unless I'm going to work through whether Slack or email, whether I'm going to work immediately on that, if I work immediately on it, great. I can do that because I can link on it and do that. But if I'm not going to be able to do that, we've all had those experiences of I'm having to go through and find the email or find the
Mhm.
message with the link or the attachment to get to the workspace to be productive on that task that I am responsible for. And I have to actually then go back through in my own mind of attention to figure out when was that sent? Where was that? Who was that from? Which channel was that on? Because the place to be productive is actually separate from the place where the communication is taking place. And I'm supposed to do my work in that communication channel as opposed to in that workspace.
Yeah. And so the amount of mental attention and heart passion that makes it through that slog to get to the actual mission is much less than it should be.